Can you decide, evaluate, and ultimately make a decision to move abroad in as little as 12 weeks? You can. It's not easy, but it's doable. Let's chat. Moving abroad requires a lot of careful evaluation. It requires introspection. It requires a lot of objective assessment. It's not something you want to do only based on emotions. I have said that a lot. But can you fast track that process? I'm telling you, yes, you can. In this video today, I'm going to give you a blueprint for you to accomplish this in as little as 12 weeks. Is it going to be challenging? Yes. And it will depend on a lot of different factors, which we will go over. But if you are serious about evaluating the prospect of retiring abroad, not just because of the current climate, not just because you are rushing to make a decision, but because that's something that you have been thinking about, and now you're just getting that little push, and you're saying to yourself, I'm ready. Where do I start? A lot of people start with that question. So I invite you to keep watching. Get your notepad or your note on your computer and take some notes. And at the end of the video, I'm going to have a workbook available. And if you send me your email, and I'm going to put my email on the screen, and you request it, I will email you the PDF. Okay? So I hope you're going to like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. And of course, I always begin by reminding you of who I am. Hello, welcome. My name is Maggie. I am a retired nurse practitioner, and I have been living full-time in the beautiful country of Panama since January 2023, almost 2 years. And we call that here our paniversary. I am like 2 months away, and I still love it. I still love it. Last week, I interviewed a woman out of Indonesia, and the focus of that conversation was to give you, the person who is contemplating the idea of moving abroad, giving you another option. And I did a couple of videos where I coined them from contemplating to executing. This process today that we are going to go over is going to take you through that process. And again, I am assuming that you had been contemplating moving abroad. And if you have any doubt or you're not sure, I invite you to go to my YouTube channel, look for the playlist. And the first playlist is called Can I Retire in Panama, or something like that, contemplating it. And then we start with an assessment, okay? Because this is serious business. We don't want you to consider moving abroad if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? It takes a special person to leave everything that they know and everything familiar and move to a whole different country and a different culture, okay? Don't shoot yourself in the foot. Know thyself. You know, I always say that. Okay. So the assumption is over that this is something that you are contemplating, and you just need a blueprint to fast track. How do I go from contemplating to executing my plan? And this is what I'm going to give you. Okay. And of course, some assumptions that not only you've thought about it before, but you are committed to doing the work that it takes, because it takes a lot of not just introspection, but evaluating your circumstances with a very critical eye. You do not want to go in this just, No, 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 because this is real life. Especially when we talk about money, we talk about family, we talk about responsibilities. It is very, very important. And even you might want to consider enlisting the help of maybe of a best friend or someone who's going to be in your corner, someone who's going to support you in the process. And you can even delegate some tasks to that person just to help you speed up the process or to remain on schedule. Okay? The first thing you want to do in week one, okay, you've already thought about it and you want to do this. In week one, you're going to do an assessment. You're going to say, what is my why? Why do I want to do this? Okay. You're not running away from any situation. You're not upset because something happened that you did not expect or wish for. You're talking about your life again. Don't make decision based on temporary feelings or emotions, right? When I was moving to Panama, I made 3 or 4 visits. I visited other countries before I decided. Okay. So it's not something to be taken lightly because this is your life. Moving from one country to another, it's a major decision. Some people may move from one state to another. Okay. But this channel is about single women wishing to retire abroad, and we are abroad. Someone said in my comment yesterday, oh, so and so did not run. They sit and fight. First of all, I'm not running. I've been here almost 2 years. And the other thing is, oh, it's not so bad at home. No one is saying it's all bad. There are things about it we are not comfortable with, and that might be one factor why we are moving abroad. It's not only one thing. And in my last video, I again broached the idea as to I did not want to grow old in the US because that prospect is frightening. And of course, it's always the cost of living for a lot of us who are abroad. So we have our reasons. And, frankly, I don't feel the need to explain my reasons to anybody. I'm trying to get you. It's about you. So tune out the noise, okay? You have to know your why. Are you leaving because of financial situation? Are you leaving? I spoke to Kate in my last video and she's like, I was restless. I needed to change, right? Are you leaving because of the political situation? Be true to yourself, okay? Don't sugarcoat it and write everything down. Everything you're feeling, everything you're discovering about yourself, write it down. So in week one, that's what you want to do. You want to spend that time, and a week is a long time for you to say, okay, Maggie, why do you want to move abroad? What is your strongest why? Okay. And I can't tell you what it is. You have to come up with that decision on your own. All right. So now you say 1, 2, 3. These are my main reasons. And I told you what my 2 main ones were, right? In week two, what do you want to do? You want to evaluate your current situation. And I mean, you want to look at your finances. You want to look at your housing situation. You want to look at your family relationship and or responsibilities. Do you have aging parents you're responsible for as a single older female? Do you have children responsibilities? Hopefully they're grown and they're on their own. Do you have any other situation? Are you heavily in debt? I talk about that also in one of my videos. Is that going to make sense for you to move abroad while you are paying down debt? I think not. Okay. So be true to yourself. Are you retired? Are you going to early retire? Do you have a pension? Right? Do you still need to work? And if you do, are you making arrangements for that? Are you getting a certification to teach English? Are you trying to get some side hustle? Do you have some remote work? This is the time you need to look at that. What do you need to make it feasible for you to move abroad? Be true to yourself. What is your housing situation? Do you own your home? Can you put it on the market? Do you want to lease it? You need to put it down. You need to put it down, okay? What is your retirement income? Do you think it's going to be sufficient? And one of the reasons you might say, I don't think I can make it in the US, but can I make it over there? And someone mentioned a website where you could get some financial information about different countries. Nomads.com. I haven't been on it, but somebody can check it out. Like I said, for me in Panama, I've been coming three or four times. I knew I had an idea about the cost of living, and I knew that with my retirement income, I was going to be okay. All right. So make sure you do that. Other thing to look at, are you going to be okay leaving, right? Or are you going to have somebody pulling on your skirt and say, you can't leave, you can't leave? The emotional consequences of living. Have you traveled abroad? Have you lived abroad? How do you feel? And one of the questions in my personal assessment that I have in that playlist that you're going to be checking out is, are you comfortable living with people who don't look like you? Ah. How do you feel about learning another language? Assessment, go deep. You got to go deep with this one. Okay? Now that's week 1. Week 2, now that you say, okay, I think I have enough of a retirement and I think I can make it work with the family. I think I have my options for my house. Where in the world would I want to retire to? And again, it goes to your why. Then you need to come up with a list of your non-negotiables, must-haves, right? If you say, I need a place where I can pay up to $1,000 a month in rent, well, that eliminates some places, but it gives you options. You could say, I need to be able to make it work for about $1,500 a month. Okay, then you're narrowing your choices. You might say, I want where it's warm. Narrow some more. Or you might say, no, I'm a beach bum. I need the beach. Narrows it down some more. If you say, oh my God, I can't take the heat. I don't want to consider any place tropical. I need cool weather, the mountains. Narrow, write it down. If it's something you're like, it's okay. But if it's a must have, if you almost pass out for temperatures over 85 degrees, don't come to Panama. Well, unless you go to the Boquete area, right? In the mountains. But write your must haves. Is affordable healthcare something that's important to you? Look at that. Language. Do you need to are you okay learning a new language, or do you say, oh, I'm way too old, I need to go to a place where they speak English? Narrow down. But I would encourage you not to come with like 10 must-haves, maybe 3, right? That way it makes it easier for you, because the larger your list of must-have, the more complicated it becomes. And we're talking about week 3 already. So if you're going to make it complicated, this blueprint is not going to work for you. Okay? So before we go to week 4, are you enjoying this conversation? Okay. And if you are, I invite you to like, share, subscribe to the channel. You know, like Sandra said, hit all the little buttons at the bottom. They all work. She's so cute when she says that. All right. So week 1, you do self-assessment. Week 2, you check out your situation and be truthful. Don't have your head in the cloud. Not everybody's situation is going to be the same. So you are an individual and you know your situation better than anybody else. So week 3, we said you're going to assess your options based on your must-haves. So that's 3 weeks. And, you know, these are the kind of things that I feel like if you don't think that you're someone who can find information easy, you're not comfortable with the computer, you know, enlist the help of somebody. If you have a grandchild who's a whiz with the computer, they can give you the information right away. That way you can shortcut some of the time it's going to take you to just try to find things online. Okay, So week 3, you got your checklist. You've decided my budget is this. That's what I can live on. And that's going to determine where you end up. You check nomads.com for the cost of living in the countries you consider it. Okay. This is where in week 3, you're going to say, okay, based on my budget and my likes and dislikes, where could I go? And that's why it's very important for you to be connected to different nomad groups, different expat groups, and you ask the questions. And I always say, I'm always amazed at how open people are and very willing to give and share, because sometimes I see the questions so many times, like, I can't answer that again. But somebody is always there answering the same question over and over. So people are very generous in how they share information with you. All right, week 4. Week 4, you're going to do an inventory of your surrounding, your home situation, okay? How much stuff do you have? And we're going to talk about the mental prep in a minute. But to me, getting rid of my stuff was the most difficult part of moving abroad. You know, you've accumulated cute little pieces. People have books, people have art. You got to get your heart ready to say, how am I going to do with this? Do I put them in storage, which nobody recommends that? Are you going to give them away? Maybe if somebody else gets your favorite pieces, you'll feel like you've extended its life, so to speak. Maybe that will bring you some kind of, consolation. But look at your home situation. Do you own your home? Are you wanting to sell it? Are you willing to, I leased my home for 2 years. I'm just at the point now, I'm ready to sell it. But perhaps in the very first steps of my repatriation assessment planning, maybe I wouldn't be ready, right? So give yourself that time. Are you okay selling it? Leasing it? And if you're going to lease it, I strongly recommend you use a management company. You don't want to be a landlord for thousands of miles away, okay? And your stuff, what are you going to do with it? Do you want to just give it away? Have people come, have a party and say, take what you want, but these I want to keep. Are you going to be planning on putting stuff on a, what do they call that? A freight load, whatever? To me, that's a lot of work. I didn't want to do any of that, but I'm not criticizing you. To each his own. People have put their books and their cooking stuff. Even though I miss my knives and stuff, I don't think I'd want to pay thousands of dollars to bring that here. I'm not attached to stuff like that. Okay? So week 4, look at your home situation. This is the time also you're going to be looking at your family relationship, your friends and family. You want to start broaching the subject. I'm considering this, and watch for the reaction. Because based on the reaction, that's going to determine your next steps. How are you going to maneuver this? First of all, a lot of time they don't believe you're serious. I have this new friend. She said up until the day of, the family didn't believe that she really was going to leave, okay? Because sometimes they don't, especially if you haven't been one to travel. They were like, she's never been anywhere. No, she's not going to go. And then boom, shakalaka, you and they're like, oh my God, she's really leaving. And some are upset. Some will not talk to you for a little while. And we can do a whole lot of video about how to address that. But be ready for it. Don't wait to the last minute to tell them what's their reaction, and then stay firm with your decision. So another thing is, do you have any responsibilities? Do you have aging parents that you're responsible for? And if you decide to leave, are you making arrangements? That's another time and energy that it takes. And that's why it's never a good thing if you have siblings to just be the one to do everything. That's you setting yourself up for this very situation where you're leaving. Who's going to take care of mom? And it's like, she's your mom too. Right? So do that assessment. That's week 4. That's a lot, right? Your home, your stuff, the relationship. That's what I'm saying. This is a fast track. And one thing I would suggest that you do, You need to prep yourself for this marathon because that's what it is, okay? Take your supplements, do it for your walk, go to the gym, put yourself in the best condition because it's going to take a lot out of you, okay? So don't say I didn't tell you. And then in terms of sleep, make sure you get enough sleep. Make sure you're drinking your water. Go see your physician. Tell them what you're trying to do. And if there is anything that suggests that you do to be able to manage that stress, it's going to be a very stressful 12 weeks. Okay? Week 5. As I said, I recommend that you only consider 1 to 3 countries. If you have a country you're considering that is transatlantic, you're going to have to go over the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean. That's going to extend the time a little bit because first, wait a minute, we'll talk about money in a minute. Look at the visa process for all the places that you are considering. Ease of the visa process, Ecuador, Panama, I don't know about Costa Rica, but you need to do your research. And all you need to do is go to the embassy in that country and they'll tell you 1, 2, 3. Not everybody has a retirement visa program. There is a couple that did a really nice expose about 15 different countries, and they had that's a lot of work. They had all the visa process. So I'll see if I can find that, and I will post it in the description. So you can do that research as you're considering different countries. So you need to know the visa process. Okay, that's week 5. We talked about your physical fitness. At this point, you should have started caring about, am I mentally and physically prepared for this? Because that is a marathon. You heard me say that several times. Okay. Week 6. So you got all this information. What you want to do in week 6, which is about the midpoint, is to say, am I really going to do this? And sis, if you get to week 6 and you're like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed, there is no way I can go through all this. Sis, it's a good time to say, maybe not now, maybe later, or maybe never. There is no shame in saying, I can't do this. But I want you to go through the exercise and then at the midpoint with 6, decide, do you want to go further? All right. So now I'm assuming you want to continue. So week 6, commit, recommit. Yes, that's what I want. Yes, that's what I want. Continue talking to your family. Do your reevaluation. Confirm in your mind that it is what you want to do. Again, remember, you are taking notes. You are writing everything down. Every time a thought comes into your head, a question, write it down so you can research it. And YouTube channels such as mine, Panama Relocation Tours, you got information. In fact, I think that's a problem, information overload. And that's what I'm trying to keep you from feeling overwhelmed. If you go to my YouTube channel, I have different playlists. There is Retire in Panama, and it goes over, if you consider in Panama, okay? I don't have a playlist for other countries, but other people do. And because on this channel, we focus on the single older female, okay? If you were to say Panama, it would make it a lot easier for you because I've done most of the work for you. You just need to watch the videos and take notes, okay? If you want to do Ecuador, I don't know if Jewel has videos, but that might require a little bit more research and time, but we're trying to fast track, okay? All right. So week 7, you're going to start planning some scouting. Now, on week 5, you are deciding what to do with your stuff. So start doing some of these, I would say you have like what they used to call them, estate sale party kind of type of thing. Invite your family and friends, let them take things. You want to start downsizing. You don't want to wait till the last minute to say, oh my God, I have a house full of stuff. What do I do with it? And then giving stuff to the Salvation Army and what was the other one? I forgot. But just But to me, I'm not a fan of garage sales because that's a lot of time on your part, and then the returns are just a few years. You say $2, like okay, 50 cents. That's ridiculous. Just give it away. To me, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. Or Facebook Marketplace worked for me. All my heavy duty furniture, beds and stuff, those were easy to get rid of. It was the clothing and the knickknacks that were a problem. Take them to Goodwill. Just drop it off. I was making drop off to Goodwill like every couple of days. The guys would like, you again? It's like, yep, I got more stuff. All right. You need to start in week 7 planning your scouting trips. That's why when you're doing your financial planning, in addition to how much money you're willing to spend on a monthly basis when you get there, in the planning phase, you got to budget for some scouting trips, depending again. If you're coming to Panama, I'm talking $500 round trip. That is not bad. We have Airbnbs. You got to plan for that. Food, transportation. Okay. So make sure you budget for those. And again, if you say, I'm considering Panama and also Ecuador, so you have to find out what the flights cost, and the same thing, Airbnb, transportation, food, okay? And if there is any cost, usually there isn't for you to get in and out of the country, and you don't have to worry about the visa process at this point because you already know where you're going, and then we're going to start the visa process. I think we started that in week 5. So you know what it's going to cost you. That's going to have to be in your budget. So you have to really start a budget, the planning budget. The planning budget is going to be trips, flights, transportation, food, Airbnbs, and incidentals, because you never know what might happen, right? But then once you decide on your 3 countries, as I said in week 5, you're researching the visa process and any costs associated with that you want to put in that budget. That's your relocation budget. This is not the budget you're going to have when you get there. This is all part of the planning, right? How much it's going to cost you. And hopefully, if you have a Facebook Marketplace and you're selling your stuff, you're going to make a little bit of change. Okay? All right. So week 7. Again, at this point, if you're feeling overwhelmed, I don't know if they have somebody called relocation consultant. I don't know if they do or not, but if they do and you feel overwhelmed, you may want to consider hiring someone like that. If not, just pose questions, and then your best friend comes to you on the side, which she's been helping you with, and then try to keep you encouraged, first of all, reminding you to take care of yourself physically and mentally during that process, but also help you with the gathering of information. Okay? So now you have your budget and you're going to start planning your scouting. Now the scouting, I budget maybe 3 weeks. Okay? So you go from week 7, 8, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, week 10. So the 3 weeks for you to fly. And of course, if you're going to do it in a rushed way, your ticket's going to cost you more. So please budget for that. Don't be surprised. That's why, if you say, I want to do it in Indonesia, that's going to take longer and it's going to be pricier. So think about it. And again, let's say somebody said, you don't have to think about exactly where you're going to land eventually. You could start in one country and then land in another country, right? So let's say you say, I'm coming to Panama. I plan on being here maybe 6 months and see how I like it. And if I don't like it, while you're in Panama, you can get your residency in Panama. But you scouting other places and you say, I really want to end up in Indonesia. Because if you go watch that video, and I'll post a link to it that I did before this video, you're going to see that the cost of living is so much better that the cost of the flight, eventually you're going to recoup that. in the savings that you're going to make from the very, very cheap rentals that they have over there. Okay? So scouting, go visit the two places, have your your notepad, write the questions, find the answers, language, cost of living, transportation, the presence of an expat community, the three things, the three prongs that I tell you when you are relocating is cost of living, cost of healthcare, and the presence of an expat community. Because ladies, as seasoned senior ladies, you need community. You may not think you do, but you do. We're ladies. We like our company. The guys are a bit different. Give them a club, they're playing golf and they're good. But we just need a lot of kumbayas, okay? Because we're just wired that way. All right. So you do your scouting trip week 8, 9, 10. So you come back on week 11. That's when you make a decision. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bingo. Panama. Bingo. Ecuador and Mexico. I keep forgetting to say Mexico. Mexico is a hotbed for people very attractive. Okay. So make your decision, and please don't get caught in what do they call? I keep always forgetting paralysis. When you evaluate something over and over and over, you got to be able to get to a point where you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom, number 2. Okay, you can't get caught up in 1 week. Oh, I'm in love with Panama. The second week, oh, I'm in love with. Don't do this to yourself, sis. Going to drive you absolutely crazy. I'm just talking about it and I'm feeling a certain way. So this is not an easy process. You have to have the fortitude to go through this process I'm describing now. It's not for everybody, but if you want a quick exit, that is one way of doing it. And someone even mentioned you can come to Panama for 6 months, but you still have to take care of things at home, right? So this Fastrack is going to help you get to Panama a bit quicker, but it requires stamina. It requires objectivity. It requires mental fortitude. It requires physical and mental stamina to be able to make your decision, stick to it, do what you can to handle the family, friendship, comments, situations that are sure to come your way in the most diplomatic way. But still, I feel you and I'm sorry, but it's my decision. Okay? All right. Week 11, you've done all your scouting trips and you decided on a particular place. And now it's like you're going to start getting ready. So week 11 is prep. Okay. So you've got your visa started, right? Now, I guess after the scouting trip, that's when you're really going to get the visa process started. And there's another video that Giovanna did, one of the attorneys here, and she talked about the process, how you can start it even from where you are. You don't have to be in country to start your process, and you can do that. Or if you decide to stay in Panama for 6 months, while you're scouting other places, in that 6 months, you can start your visa process and get your visa, because in Panama, once you get your permanent residency as a pensionado, you're only required to come to the country 1 time every 2 years. I don't know if they're going to change that, but that is the easiest way I know for you to keep your permanent residency as a retiree in any country, okay? So week 11, you have your plan, make your decision on the country, and then this is where you're going to spend the time with doing what to do with your stuff, what to do with your house. That week, you make that decision, you start the process. My process was easy. I had sold pretty much everything in my house. Then I just found not a realtor, but property manager. I called, interviewed, and again, don't get caught up in the paralysis, just wanting every little detail. Just get recommendations and go for it. And that's what the thing. I think sometimes we miss out because we're just so afraid of making a decision. And if you've lived with this long, I know you've made some difficult decisions. So this is just the same. So get your house in order. And it could be that you need a little bit of extra time, 1 week here, an extra week there, but just don't get caught up in just not moving, okay? You have to keep it moving. So you make your decision for your home, your stuff, while at the same time nurturing the relationship with your friends and family. Yes, I'm really going. Yes, I'm really going. And that's when, you hang out with them, you go to dinner, you just because you don't want to cut the cord just like that. You want to kind of ease them into it. Okay. Week 11, week 12, decision made. Decision made. You pick a date when you're going to exit and you just start working frantically, okay? And that's why I think the people who come here and have the best outcome are the ones who have a supportive person back at home that's going to help you, how you transfer your address and your credit cards and, your mail and all of that. And that person is going to be your contact. So don't cut off relations with everybody. Nobody's an island, okay? You need somebody like myself. I have suitcases in my cousin's home. I have my cousin keeping an eye on my mail. I have my neighbor keeping a house on my house. Nobody's an island, all right, sis? So week 12, decision made. And this was my goal for you for this video, is to take you from the idea of, can I do it? To how do I get started, and then to the process. Like, share, and subscribe. So let's do a recap for you, okay? Week 1, self-eval. What is your why? Why do I want to do this? Week 2, evaluate your current situation, financial, family, housing, okay? Any responsibilities. Week 3, decide which place you want to consider and for why. Decide your must-haves and the things that you need and narrow your search. Okay? Ooh, the wind is blowing the glass windows. All right, week 4. What is your budget? You start doing your budget as to, based on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you check nomads.com and you come up with 2 or 3 possibilities, okay? Possible places, cost of living, insurance, transport, rent, all the stuff that you're gonna need to make sure you can fit it in your budget. And we did the assessment in week 2, is like, what is gonna be your retirement income? Your pension, how much money for sure that you're going to have coming in every single week. All right. Week 4, dealing with family, relationships, things, responsibilities that you have. What are you going to do with your stuff? Decide how to do that and start that process. Week 5, start looking at the visa process, requirements, and ask the questions. And throughout the whole time, you're on the Facebook pages, you're watching YouTube channels, and you're taking notes, okay? Week 6, making sure you take care of your physical and emotional health, whether you're go see your doctor, tell him what you're doing, and get advice on how to keep yourself as healthy as possible, physically, mentally, emotionally. Week 10, commit and recommit. Assess your situation. Do I still want to do this? And like I said, it's okay. I think at week 6, we said that. It's okay if it's like, I don't think I have the stamina or the know-it-all to do all this by myself. And enlist the help of a trusted friend or a techie grandchild to help you in the process, okay? So week 11 is scouting time. Once you decide on 2 or 3, you have budgeted for the trips, you get on a plane and you go check it out. Check it out. So you're going to need maybe 2 to 3 weeks to do that, which is perfectly fine. It's not ideal. It's not ideal, but it's doable. Okay? So week 11, let's see. Right. You did the 3 weeks for the scouting, and then week 11, you come home and it's like, let's do the evaluation. What did I learn from the 3 places I visited or 2 places? What do I like about them? All the stuff we talked about, cost of living, healthcare, expat community, the food, the climate, transport, all these things are important. And then week 12, execute your plan. Be bold, be strong, don't be deterred. Make sure everything is okay with your heart. That's what you want to do, because some people who don't take the time to do that introspection, that self-evaluation, about how do I feel about living in another country? How do I feel about having people speak different languages around me that I don't understand? Am I going to feel like they're talking about me? I don't know why you would, but it does upset some people. Are you easy to acclimate to a new culture? Because there are things that are going to upset you. And again, my video, 9 things you might not like about Panama, is I keep it fun, but it's reality. Okay. Last week, I took a sister to open a bank account and it just kind of brought it all back. Oh, yes, this is the way it's done here. Get your phone, start listening to something while you wait and wait and wait. All right. So I believe I have given you the tools. I have given you a blueprint to take you from contemplating the idea of moving abroad to executing it in a fast track way. Okay. It's not perfect, but it's certainly going to help you stay on track. All right. So now you've made your decision, and I look forward to welcoming you to Panama or wherever your little heart desires or your evaluation took you. Make sure that you're doing this for the right reason, that you're not doing it based on emotions or because you're not feeling a certain way today, because it is a long-term commitment and you're going to have to live with that decision. I think it's a travesty to see people selling all their stuff, doing all that, and then after a year end up going back. That is so sad. So be realistic with your budget. Know what you can and cannot afford. Don't say, oh, I want oceanfront, I want this, I want that, and then you have a little budget. And I'm not making fun or anything. We all have our lives to live, but just be truthful and responsible. Okay? All right. I hope you enjoy this. I've been wanting to do this video since, all hell broke loose and everybody is in a panic. But I'm saying, if you want a process to help you go from point A to come to the decision, this video is for you. So I'm asking you to share the videos, this video and other videos, with someone who you know is in the same situation as you, trying to come up with, can I do it? Can I make it work? Yes, you can. Just be strong, be encouraged, be determined, because the world is a big place and there are a lot of places waiting to embrace you. All right, sis. God loves you. I love you. Au revoir. Go keep it real. À la prochaine. Bonne journée. Bye.